Hi Ducks. So this is the review of Pride in the Park 2024. I want to make clear, because there has been some stuff online since my last video on social media and stuff, that this video is my personal opinion and my anecdotal evidence from the day, and things people said to me on the day, and surprisingly after yesterday, things that people said to me in public and at a pub in Southampton yesterday at an event that Mabel and I attended. So this is not just my anecdotal evidence, it's also things that people have said to me. So Pride in the Park was on the 8th and 9th of June 2024. I'm not saying this as a representative of any organisation. As I say, this is my personal opinion and my anecdotal evidence. I know there is a particular person who know who I'm talking about here, who has bombarded my friend with messages about this video that you are watching now, and they didn't have the respect to message me. Instead, they messaged a third party. So if you have something to say, tell me and say it to me, not people around me. Okay, where to begin? Basically, off the bat, I have never been to a Pride event where I have experienced transphobia. And I did at this Pride event. We have talked to some of the people from Firefly who organised the event. The PR team, Emma, thank you for contacting me, Emma, has contacted me, and this is my response that they are waiting for. So, yeah, as I say, I have never experienced bigotry at a Pride event, transphobia, but I did at this one. Apparently, I didn't see it, but we now know there was a stall at the event that was selling Harry Potter merchandise. Oh God. Apparently, it was against the contract that they had signed with the organisers of the event, and they were asked to remove it. Now, I am unsure if it was on both days that the merchandise was up, but it was definitely up on the first day, and they were asked to remove it. There was also a stall run by a lady who had particular transphobic and gender critical views that she expressed to the head of Trans Pride Southampton when she went up to there to ask if they would give leaflets about our upcoming event on the 29th of June. And when she did that, this lady bombarded her with transphobia and gender critical comments. This lady was supposed to have been representing two particular organisations on this stall. One of those organisations I know is not transphobic. I have a friend who is a bit of a thing in this organisation, and they are horrified at what I explained to them had happened on the day. And apparently they were unaware that they were going to have a stall at Pride in the Park. So whoever this lady was, she wasn't representing officially the organisation she said she was supposed to be representing. So that was a good start on the first day. The third thing is, when it comes to the transphobia, I don't understand who the security were allowing into the site. Now, apparently, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to sign up for tickets by email for the event, and then you turn up on the gate, you show your invitation, your pass that you've got online, and you're allowed in. But it got to a point where they were just letting anybody in. And on our stall, the Trans Pride Southampton stall, we had a number of people who came up to us, didn't know what we were doing, realised who we were, and threw back the leaflets, gave us a dirty look or a snide comment, and walked away. You don't expect that at a Pride event. You don't expect members of the general public to come into the event and harass you and be horrible to you and make your time there crap. There was no parade. There was no protest march. You expect at a Pride event there to be a protest march. There wasn't one. Apparently, they couldn't afford to pay for the road closures. I don't understand what their argument is when it comes to paying for the road closures. Yes, at Southampton Pride, we pay for road closures, but at Trans Pride, we don't. We just march. We inform the police that we're going to have the march. We give them a detail of what the route will be, and they say, yes, you can do it, or they say, no, we have a problem. We have been granted the right to march. For this year, Trans Pride Southampton is marching this year. We did it last year, and we did it the year before. And it wasn't a problem. So I don't understand why Pride in the Park couldn't just organise a march through the streets of Southampton like we at Trans Pride do. So that didn't make any sense. So it was a Pride with no protest march. You can't have a Pride without a protest march. Then there comes the question of, what did they spend the money on? They said they had forked out over £25,000 for the event. Everybody I have spoken to and independent people have come up to me and said, what did they spend the money on? The acts that they had on, it was really bad. They had a DJ who was playing generic 90s and noughties music all day, and then they had a sort of band there that played other people's music. They had a few drag artists singing other people's songs, and the only really original act they had that I noticed, and I was there for the 2 days, was Hunting Hearts. Not many people were getting up and dancing. There wasn't big crowds at the stage. One comment we saw online was, how can you play Waterloo 3 times in half an hour? The site you saw from the last video that I did earlier, did a few days ago, showed you the layout of the site. It was very open, and there wasn't really that many people there. It was, even on the second day, you expect the second day to be quiet. It was really quiet. There wasn't that many people attending. And as I say, some of the people coming into the site didn't even know it was a Pride event. They didn't know. They thought it was some sort of fate. It was only when they got onto the site and they realised there was a lot of trans folk there and people with queer flags that they realised where they were. But they didn't really know. A lot of people who were coming up to us didn't know it was a Pride event. It was really hard to see what they'd spent the money on. I have said in the past, the previous years that these events have been held, Pride in the Park, that it really is a glorified village fete with a queer theme. That's all it is. If you were dropped from Mars in to the site, you wouldn't know it was a Pride event. Not really. There was no real clues other than what individual people were wearing as their pride flags around their necks as scarves and stuff. There wasn't really anything else there that designated it as a Pride event, and because there was no march, there was no mass convergence on the site that you get after a march where everybody piles in. People just came in drips and drabs and left in drips and drabs. I have never been to a worse Pride than this one, and I do not like saying that. I do not like criticising Pride in the Park. I have said this many times and I will continue to bang on about it. This city of Southampton has 3 prides. We have Pride in the Park, we have Trans Pride, and we have Southampton Pride. And no real city outside of New York can boast 3 prides. It's very important that we have a Pride in June. So Pride in the Park fills that void. It is in June. So there are pride celebrations in the city for the community, which numbers over 10% of the population of this city. It's the largest demographic in the city, the queer community. It's good to have, it's important to have, and I want them to do better. I want, if you're watching this, Firefly and Emma, I want you to take this as constructive criticism. I want you to go from strength to strength, to do the best you can, to really pull out all the stops. But for the last 3 years, it just hasn't looked like that's happened. It just looks like a pride on the cheap. And I don't like it, because there is so much you can do with that. Now, I'm not knocking people's pride. People's pride is very important in this city, and they were the ones that Firefly and the event organisers at Pride in the Park were organising the event for People's Pride. People's Pride do a lot for the queer community in this city. As you can see up here, if you could just make that out, they have a social, they have a youth group that meets for queer people over 18s. They have outreach centres, they have a stall. They used to have a shop, but they have a stall in the market, by the bar gate. They have a regular presence on the high street, something that Trans Pride Southampton and Pride don't have. We just have events and things going on in the year, individual events. People's Pride have a permanent position that you can see at least once a week on average. So I am not knocking People's Pride, but I am criticising the event because it just was... it was crap. It was really bad. I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand what the goal was. As I say, there was no march. There was no real clue that it was a pride event other than individual people going around with flags around their necks. It was just Spartan. It was just a village fete with a queer theme. And it was barely a queer theme. The music was crap. Hunting Hearts were good. Some of the drag artists who sang were good. But the rest of it was just, it was shit. I couldn't believe it. And comments that we've had afterwards from people who have come up to us, who don't know us, people in a pub. Me and Mabel were at a Viso Sport event yesterday at the Common in Southampton. And we had people in the pub who attended the event saying music was crap. So it's not just my opinion, it's the people that attended the event's opinion. I really want them to do better. I don't want them to fold. I don't want them to take this criticism as a dig and a sarky attempt to have a go at them. I want them to do better. Really want them to do better. I don't want them to go away. I want them to stay, and I want them to do better. And if you can't organise a protest march by closing the roads, check it with the police and just march. If the police say, yes, that's a good route, you can do it, march it. You don't have to pay to close the roads, just march it. Those are my personal opinions. Take them for what you want, criticise me. If you have a beef with what I'm saying, come to me directly. Do not go to third parties, come to me directly. I will not bite your head off. I will take criticism just as much. Criticism helps you learn and develop and become better at something. And that is why I'm criticising the event, because I want it to do better. I want it to really stand out. I don't want everybody just to come up to me saying, oh, in Southampton Pride, brilliant. I want them to say, Party in the Park was good this year. I enjoyed it. Not, this is a bit naff. So please take that criticism as it is. As I say, I'm speaking on behalf of me, nobody else. Just me. That's my personal opinion. And I can say that. It's my personal opinion. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon, folks.